I come from a great and powerful lineage. Since the time of Alexandros, founder of our dynasty, we have sought to carve our place through both the sword and the blessings of the gods. Now it is my turn to continue that heritage. I know that there will be those who doubt me, those who would be rid of me like they did my grandfather, but I intend to prove them all wrong. I am the heir to this legacy, and I will see our destiny achieved.
Hello Wanderers, welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series and to a brand new season of our House Argeas playthrough Heir to an Empire. And here you can see the heir to that empire, perhaps not the presumed heir, but an heir nonetheless, Queen Ariadne of Krete. And she is here on this throne that has been graced by some of the finest leaders in the last 100 years of the Eastern Roman Empire, starting from her grandfather Alexandros all the way down to her own father Ptolemy. She has a great lineage to live up to, but this young woman, despite being only 14 years of age, as she ascends to this throne, has a bright future ahead of her if she can manage to retain her power, which is no easy thing for a girl her age in these times, but I think that she will be able to be successful. Let's take a look at our new character here, Despotissa Ariadne. So as you can see, she is 14 years old. Her traits here, we have just, so she has a strong sense of justice, but interestingly enough, she is also fickle. So I don't think she necessarily applies that sense of justice consistently, shall we say. And that might play into a little bit of the next trait, which is ambitious. So her sense of justice is something that is tempered by her ambition and by her own fickle nature. She is also temperate, so she believes things are best enjoyed in moderation. So some very interesting traits there. You can see that she is also bossy, so even from a young age, she's been bossing children around, which I think is very fitting for this young woman. Now, she is of the New Hellenic religion, the Hellenic religion that was developed in the time of our grandfather, and indeed, this New Hellenic religion, which follows the god Kyrios, all the other gods of the Greek pantheon, the Hellenic pantheon as well. But within this religion, Kyrios, the son of Zeus, has usurped his father, and Kyrios is associated with the Christian god as well. And so there is some syncretism there. If you want to go back and see how that all played out, I would definitely recommend checking out the previous seasons, Son of Ares, Heir to Alexander, and the Prince of Egypt series. You will probably get some pretty interesting context, but I would check those out after you are done watching this episode if you haven't already. So that kind of plays into the fact that we have consecrated blood, and that is due to our lineage being traced back all the way to the god of war himself, Ares. And this is something that I think makes a lot of sense considering the time period when people would be tracing their lineages back to give them this kind of leg up in terms of how they are seen amongst the people, and tracing your lineage back to people like Alexander the Great or even the gods themselves was something very fitting. And I think that that will help mitigate the fact that she is only 14 years old, but her dynasty and her bloodline is extremely well respected and considered to be wrought from the divine itself. So that may mitigate the fact that she is so young and taking the throne at such a young age. Her stats here are pretty decent. She's got decent diplomacy, martial, which is the education that she is getting. She has pretty decent stewardship, not a very intrigue-focused character. She likes to be a little bit more straightforward with how she approaches things, and we'll play that out in-game. And she also has a decent learning, so pretty decent. Her prowess is insane, 32, and that is directly because of her Argeas mace and the armor of Argeas. So she's got a pretty big bonus from that, but I wouldn't want to mess with this young woman anyways, because she'll clonk you over the head with that mace and be done with you. So pretty good character that we are taking up here. She only has the one county, Alexandria, but Alexandria is a pretty amazing county with some awesome buildings, and we've really developed it up pretty good, so it is a great starting spot for our character to build a power base from. Some of the important characters here, we're going to obviously take a look at our Regent, Helias Kalakratos. This man is insane. He has brave, patient, and ambitious, so amazing traits right there. Not only that, but his martial is 30. So extremely high martial. He is a brilliant strategist, blade master, strategist, rough terrain expert, logistician. He's a pilgrim. He's robust. He's a traveling man and a valued warlike courtier. His prowess is 31. This man is incredibly well respected. He is also our marshal. So simply the fact that this man exists is almost a threat in and of itself to our power, considering he is our regent, he is in charge of our armies, and he is incredibly well respected. Luckily, he is the one who is training us, and he is very slightly favorable towards us. So he's still pretty neutral, but he doesn't think that he doesn't dislike us, and I think that is going to be a saving grace here. Now, we've only got 2 years of the Regency potentially, so we may have to deal with the Regency mechanics. He is self-interested, so his ambition is playing into it there, but I think that this is quite fitting and will lead to some interesting character development here in these next 2 or so years. Now, you will notice that our mother, Basilisa Pelagia, has ascended to the throne. And in the very few months since our father's death, the death of Ptolemy, the Emperor Basileus Akakios the Stallion also passed away. This was just a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, two and a half weeks ago, the Emperor passed away, and our mother has gone here to Byzantium, to Constantinople, to rule the empire, but she rules it in a difficult, she finds herself in a difficult situation as she is facing 3 rebellions, I believe 2 of which are for claims. The most probably difficult one, and the one that we are going to be looking at the closest, is the one here for Duke Hectorios's claims on the empire. Now, Duke Hectorios is an interesting man. He is ambitious, he is just, and he is chaste. He has a throne on the empire, but that is not a very legitimate claim on the empire here. I believe he fabricated it, but he probably fabricated it through the fact that his grandmother was the granddaughter of an emperor. So he's got a very, very tenuous claim here that he probably fabricated in order to push this. He was pushing this against the former emperor Akakios, so this isn't something that sprang up in our mother's time, but it is something that we are going to have to deal with, and we're going to have to help our mother deal with that, and we are going to do so, but we're going to do so shortly. First, we're going to take a look at some of the other important characters who are going to be playing a role in this series. Very briefly, we will take a look here at Prince Akakios, who is our betrothed. He is 2 years younger than us, but he's turning into a good man. He is just, he's honest, a curious young man. He is the adopted son of Basileus Aristarchus the Kind. So technically he would be our grand uncle or our great uncle, but that is not by blood, that is simply by adoption. So very interesting character here, but it gives our own character, once they do wed, if they do wed, a potential interesting tie to the line of the House of Macedon, even though we are technically descended from it matrilineally. Now, we are very briefly going to go over some of the other important characters here, starting with the custom channel member characters. If you want to get a custom character in the game, look at the join button down below this video, because you can get your own if you join at the counselor member tier, and you can see some of these characters and how you can customize them for yourselves. And these characters are going to be playing some interesting roles here in our court and in this campaign potentially as well. So first up, we have Zenon Sortez. He is a very interesting character. A young man who was essentially destined to become a warrior due to his Herculean nature and his, he wanted to be a warrior. And yet, unfortunately, he was afflicted with leprosy. And though everyone told him that this was the will of the gods, he did not believe them and insisted that he would still be a warrior. So, this young man, 14 years of age, same age as us, despite his disease, he is going on to try to become one of the greatest knights of our court. He's got pretty high prowess despite his leprosy. It's kind of balanced out here, but he's got some decent traits. He's a very rowdy character, getting the martial lifestyle experience. So he's probably going to become one of our acclaimed knights in the future if he survives and once he comes of age. Then we have Agapitos Ergatis, our court tutor. Agapitos hails from Crimea, the southern tip of it, the Greek parts of it here. And he has come to our court in order to essentially learn all about the gods and the ways of essentially to further his education. Obviously, there is a university here in Heliopolis, but he has landed in our court and he will be serving as our court tutor. He's a theologian, so he knows about the Greek gods and the Slavic gods and the Norse gods. He was kind of in the confluence point of all those different religions. And so he furthers his education here in our court, and he teaches the young ones of our court in the meantime. So interesting character there. He, despite that, he is a little bit weak of body, but not weak of mind. Then we have Nicandros Castellanos, our bodyguard and personal champion. Now, he hails from a family that ruled near Syracuse, and unfortunately, due to some disputes they had with the despot of Magna Graecia, he has come here as an adventurer to our court, and he will be serving us as one of our most powerful and trusted knights here. Now, he doesn't necessarily like us that much, but he is relatively well inclined. He is still of the old Hellenic religion. We might actually demand his conversion here, and I think he will accept. He has a wife who is a witch. Actually, his wife is one of our cousins, so good for him. But yeah, he is just patient and brave and a pretty skilled warrior as well. So interesting character there. Last but not least, Alexander Pirtanius. He is a pretty interesting character who has a claim on the county of Naxos, so the islands just off of Attica here. And his family was ousted from their position, and he has come to our court to seek our aid in gaining that position back. He's a pretty skilled man, just, vengeful, ambitious. He is a astute intellectual, but also a warrior as well. So keen of both blade and mind is Alexander. And if we get a chance, we are going to do what we can to get his claim back. He is also married to one of our cousins as well. So yeah, pretty good for him. These two characters have married up essentially. So those are some of our interesting characters. You can get characters like that too if you join at the counselor member level. Very brief look before we get things started here at our council. We obviously have the High Priestess of Kyrios as our High Priest. She is currently converting the faith in county. Oh no, actually she is not converting a faith. She doesn't need to convert faith anymore. Finally, the bug that was preventing us from doing holy wars, which was really hindering us, is fixed. We can do holy wars once again. I do believe. Yeah, here we go. We were not able to do that before, so we used to have to fabricate claims every time. We don't need to do that, so we can get her back to converting, which is excellent. Then we have Duchess Epiphania. Duchess Epiphania the Fair of Athens. She was once very well respected, but not so much anymore since she has turned to the drink. She is our chancellor, but she is actually in a Liberty faction against us, along with the Count of Siwa and the Duchess of Spoleto. So that is not good to see. We'll see how that all plays out. They can send an ultimatum, I believe, anytime now, so we might have to kind of keep an eye on that, which is a little bit concerning considering the situation our mother finds herself in. In the rest of our court here, we have Princess Sophia. She is incredibly well respected. She is our steward, a very, very well respected woman, a herbalist, a witch, which is something that is accepted within our religion. She's incredibly intelligent. She is just, she is honest, she is patient. This is a woman who nobody has anything against. I can't imagine why you would. She just seems to be a very good person, very skilled person, and somebody we will rely on heavily in the future. You've seen our Marshal Helios Kallikratos, and then we have Duchess Kira, our spy master, who is a, interesting kind of mixture of traits here. But she is very loyal and she is a relatively decent spy master. So heavily female-oriented court, which is good, interesting and good because we are a young woman and a warrior queen potentially. So that's our court. That's everything. What do we need to do before we start time? Well, one thing we're going to do is we are going to look towards our alliances. We could get an alliance with our aunt, Princess Leontia or Leontia. Not entirely sure. I'm going to say Leontia here. We could get an alliance there. The 400 troops isn't terrible. I think I'm willing to try that. We will get an alliance with our mother here because we want to assist her as much as we can. Dragoman. No, not interested in helping Wallachia out. They are in enough trouble and I just don't want to get dragged into something that is not our problem. We have some prisoners here. We are not going to be ransoming them just yet. You know what? Actually, we probably could ransom one. We're probably going to ransom you for 60, but we're going to keep the rest. I want to just continue to whittle the funds of Sultan Farhan ibn Ahmad away because Ali is obviously an enemy of us. We're going to try to whittle away their funds by giving back their prisoners one at a time, but we are going to keep Prince Adnan in our prison because that is going to be useful if we ever go to war with Ali. We are certainly going to go to war with Ali, so having his heir imprisoned will be very helpful for us. Anything else we need to do? We can demand a hostage. So we are playing with the new Wards and Wardens DLC. I don't really know anything about this DLC. I haven't really looked too much up. So we are just going to kind of play around with it a little bit. I think that we can demand a hostage here from Duke Demetrios. I'm not entirely sure why, but hostage from the Aegean Islands. That could be helpful when we try to push the claims of the House Britannius. So let's demand a hostage here. I'm not opposed to that. And everything else seems to be pretty fine here. So that is what we're gonna do. Now, what I would like to do as we just kind of very briefly get we're gonna start time very slowly, but I do want to offer to join the wars here to assist our mother. So we're gonna join in this one. Let's see there. We're gonna join in all of the wars with our mother so we can assist at our leisure. We'll join in Duke Hectorios's claim and we will join in the Liberty War as well. So there we go. We've joined in all of the wars, so now we can assist and help out with that war score. Let us raise up all of our armies here now. Now we do, oh, and now our mother is our friend, excellent. We do need to watch out because of this ultimatum that could be coming anytime. I would love to assist my mother, but we have to watch out because this ultimatum could drop at any time. But if we can go and assist her a little bit, then that'll put her in a pretty good position. Our mother has a fair amount of troops here, 5,500. She can probably handle most of these wars, but I don't think that she will have as much of a chance here against Duke Hectorios' claim. He has a lot of troops, and if it was just one of these, she'd probably be fine, but not all three, so we're going to help as much as we can. We have now learned the Arabic language, which is excellent, because our lands are largely Arabic speaking, actually. So we are going to send our troops in, and we're going to try to engage in battle if we can, but I don't want to spend too many of our troops in this fight, just simply due to the fact that we're probably going to be facing an enemy or a civil war, essentially, a rebellion within our realm, probably sometime in the not far future here. So we're gonna send our troops in. We're gonna try to hit the Liberty War here if we can. That's gonna free up our mother's troops a little bit, and then we should be able to kind of return and deal with our own problems once this is all done and sorted over. So we're gonna send our troops in here. We're gonna engage in the fight. It looks like things are, yeah, we're gonna meet up with our mother's troops. Perfect. That is exactly what we want to see here. We can help out without spending too many of our forces. So the enemy's gonna get crushed here. That should add to our mother's war score. Hopefully our regent is more powerful. And the Holy Order expands. Well, that is good to see. But the regent has swung the scales of power against us. So now he's at power level 2, which means he can attempt to imprison fellow vassals and courtiers within the realm of their liege. I don't think that's terrible, as long as we can still get the claim back once things are done, or take power back. But Hectorios is a powerful man, so, or not Hectorios, but our regent here, Helios Kallikratos. So there we go. We defeated the enemy army there, 90%, so that's not so bad. Maybe we can go and hit this smaller army here. That might give our mother what she needs to defeat that. There's some fighting going on over here. So yeah, we're trying to deal with this as much as we can without overextending ourselves. That's kind of the main thing, is that we don't want to overextend ourselves and face that rebellion in a situation that we would be at a disadvantage with. Assuming it fires, it's probably going to fire. Let's chase down their army here. We might catch them here. Is this even gonna help? Yeah, it could help if we win this one. And once that's done, that'll free up our mother to kind of put her focus on over here. So we won't need to help as much once this one is done with. Here we go. So luckily the timing is working out okay. To my liege, it is time for you to recognize the ancient and inalienable rights of your vassals, accept the demands of the Liberty faction, or face our swords on the battlefield. Now, we could give in. We could say we have no choice and get the autonomous vassals, but we will not be doing so. We will not be seen as weak. Despite our age, these nobles think that they can take advantage of our age. Well, we are the daughter of great and powerful warriors. Do not mislook us because of our gender. We will not give in. So that is the war there. Let's take a look at our situation here. So we are going up against a reasonable amount of troops. We're probably going to need to call in a mercenary army, I would imagine, to assist us with this. We need a new chancellor. I am going to assign our cousin Theodosia, who is our lady in waiting, to that position for now. The enemy forces were defeated, so we can safely come back home. We're going to head over here, and we are going... Oh, interesting. Our sister was ousted from her position, and she was ruling the Delta. It looks like she was ousted, and the former Duke Mukhtar has been put in charge again, but he's still in our prison, so we'll probably just be able to revoke his title, which we can do right now. This will actually give us a nice little boost of power here. They might put him in charge, but we can revoke this title, and I think that we are going to do so. We're going to keep him in that position, but now we have the title here of Dumiyat, and that's going to help us a little bit. Probably not going to give us any extra troops. Yeah, not really, but it's still better than nothing. So kind of consolidating our power here. There we go. Our mother finished off that one war, so she can focus her troops a little bit better. We need to deal with this rebellion quickly so that we can kind of go back in to assist if we can. I did say I wanted to hire some mercenaries. We can't hire the whole... Oh no, we don't want to disband all. We want to hire the Desert Brethren, Farafa Band. How many troops do we need? Is 800 going to be enough? I think 800's probably going to be plenty. I would imagine so anyways, just due to the fact that we've got quite a few troops and they are being led by one of the greatest warriors of the modern times. So we're going to send our troops in here. Let's see how fast they can. They're close to the water. If we can send the mercenaries in to hold Saloum, then we should be able to get our troops into the water here. Yeah, there they go. They won't take too long. Yeah, okay, so potential battle 25 days. I think we should be okay here as the mercenaries are going to get hit a little bit first, but the ships are coming in pretty quickly here. So I don't think we're going to need to worry too much. This is going to prevent them from escaping, really. So there we go. Look at that. They're going to try to run. Mercenaries go in and engage first, and then the rest of our army comes in. We should handily defeat the forces of the Count of Siwa. Tons of crazy stuff going on over here. Desertion. 100 levies are disbanding due to the Civil War. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. In any case, we absolutely destroyed Count Ibrahim's army, and we captured him, and we captured his regent. Look at that. That is impressive. Very impressive. So we've easily dealt with one of the rulers of this rebellion. I don't think they're going to be too much of a problem anymore. Where are they coming in? They're coming in here. Do I want to spend the money sending my troops in? It's going to be faster, so let's go and deal with the fourth. Oh no, let's back up. Where are you running off to, Athens? Let's go and find out how things go. Prince Anthemos has left the Liberty War. He died. He drank himself to death at 30 years of age. Oh, this was the heir of Despot Leon the poet, who is a leper himself. Interesting. Well, is now, oh my gosh, Duke Sabas of Calabria. So the heir to Magna Graecia is club-footed, ill, one-legged, and wounded. Poor, yeah, botched disease treatment. We'll see if he even survives. It's probably going to pass over to his son, Count of Leon. So very interesting. That's all played out. Take a look at these battles very briefly. This was the previous one here. Elias Kalakratos getting a kill. Very good. Yeah, pretty decent in that battle. We're going to dismiss that. Take a look at this one here. This was the battle with the Count of Siwa. Elias Kalakratos slew Kadir el-Bassam, which is excellent. Frothi has wounded the enemy commander. Excellent. And Frothi slew a man. And then we look at all these guys we captured. That is just, you love to see it, don't you? You love to see it. Details of this battle, I don't even remember which one this was. But it doesn't matter because we are kind of kicking butt right now, which is exactly what I want to see. We're going to send in these troops and we're going to go and deal with Athens. We're going to have to see what happens with the forces of Spoleto at some point here, but if we can crush Athens, we should have a pretty decent advantage over our enemies. Just want to, I'm going to slow time down very briefly here so we can keep moving, and there's lots of stuff going on here that I'm not even bothering to keep track of. Our mother has brought her forces up together, so she's got a decent amount here. The enemies are still, it's kind of a siege war here, so that's good. That might give us time to deal with our own rebellion and then go in and help our mother. Oh, I do want to bring these forces. I want to merge them together here once we get the opportunity. They're running, so let them run, I say. Maybe we won't merge until after we can catch them in a fight here. Where are you running to? How far are you running? That's the question. Should we send the mercenaries down here? No, looks like they're already on their way. Looks like we're gonna catch the enemy here, so that is good to see. The forces of Spoleto coming in, but they are not gonna make it there in time. We have become the new Dynasty head, so despite our young age, just 15 years of age, our authority is respected, and we are seen as the legitimate head of the Argeas dynasty. So, you know, we might not be leading this war or anything ourselves, but we are being raised by Helios Kallikratos here, who is leading the war. So we are learning kind of hands-on how to deal with enemies. And here we go as we deal with one of our greatest enemies here, Duchess Epiphania the Fair. Once so well respected, how low she has fallen. Let's go and deal with the forces of Spoleto here. Where are you running off to? Let's see. Oh, they're sailing away because they are that cowardly. We're gonna move in here, see if we can defeat Athens again. Interesting. Oh, and look at this. With the help of Helios and the university, I have achieved an understanding of warfare that far exceeds that of any of my peers. Even though I had a natural inclination towards the subject, my mastery of it is still an achievement. Basilisa Pelagia has overseen my education and greatly contributed to my knowledge of warfare. As I take my first steps into adulthood, I find myself reminiscing of some of the people who made an impact on the woman I have become. The friendship I share with my mother meant a lot to me when I was young, and to still have her by my side means a lot. Despotisa Ariadne, you are a woman now. So we have gained the brilliant strategist trait, which is pretty cool to see. So yeah, we are, let's take a look how that's affected our stats here. 21 martial here. You know what? I think that is pretty fitting. This battle was won pretty successfully here, and nothing of major interest there. But we can, I believe, end the regency. So, you know what? We have come of age. We are going to tell Helios Kallikratos, you have taught us well, but it is time for Crete to be ruled by the House of Argeas. And thus we have taken power. And you know what? I think we're actually going to take charge of the army as well. You know, to deal with these rebels, let's go and take charge of our own army, and let's give Despotisa Ariadne her first essential, you know, her first chance to lead her men as a warrior queen. We're going to pick the strategy focus here. I'd probably like to go down the strategy tree because we are kind of, oh, look at that. Interesting. Your forces are running, but you know what? We're going to go in here and deal with this army that's coming in right now. There we go. They're going to try to flee. They are, oh, and we've been offered the position of Chancellor. Our mother is putting us in the The position of Chancellor, I think we're gonna decline. I don't think we're, at a, Chancellor kind of character here. We're gonna be able to catch the enemy army. Let's just make sure. Opponents recently disembarked. They have more commander traits and more men-at-arms counter, but we do have a pretty significant advantage here. So, oh, and look at this. Yeah, the forces split. So Spoleto is in major trouble. So, Despotissa Ariadne's first taste of blood in a battle here as we go up against the forces of the Duchy of Spoleto, and let's see how her first victory is a solid and essentially wiped out the enemy army. 590 losses, everyone killed or captured. She had her first taste of battle, and it was a successful victory. Many captured, many slain here. Obviously, Helias Kallikratos still in the army. I wouldn't see this necessarily as us just like usurping Helias's position. He's the marshal, he's the leader of the army, but I think that this is just a moment where, the Despotissa comes in as partially a figurehead to kind of lead the army into this battle. But she was sitting in on those meetings, the strategy meetings. She was sitting in on that, learning from our great commanders. But when the battle came, she was on the field, obviously not fighting among the men, in the thick of the melee, but she was on the field there and, potentially giving courage to the men under her command. So, a strong victory here. Let's see if she can follow it up by defeating the forces of Athens here. I believe this is probably a mercenary army that she's hired. Well, they are going to be crushed as well here by the Despotissa. And let us watch as she solidifies her victory and solidifies her place here as a warrior queen. There's still much to be done, however, as she looks to solidify her power and to assist her mother in holding on to the throne that shall one day, hopefully, belong to us. But more on that in the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching.